Okay, so you join me at the start of the base of the ALPE Du ZWIFT, which is 3,500 feet of climb. It's a real test of your ability to sustain cadence close to FTP for an hour if you're trying to break this hour record, obviously. Now, if you look on YouTube and you read and listen to people's advice, the hour record can be broken with an average watt per kilogram of around 3.2. So I need to be doing, as roughly 75 kilos, I need to be doing 240 watts for an hour. You can see the clock has started ticking in the top graphic there. 55 seconds, 56 seconds. You can see on the right of that, I've never been under an hour. So I've done it in 64.18 minutes and I've done it in 67, 68 minutes. But I'm 4 minutes away from that hour record. And what I wanted to do is test how far I've come on in the last 2 or 3 months. My FTP is judged by Zwift at 273 watts, which is about 3.6, 3.7 watts a kilo for me. So here we go. You can see on the right, for those who haven't been acquainted with the ALPE Du ZWIFT, you have a graphic on the right that is telling you it's a countdown from 21 to 0, obviously, to the banner at the top, which is about 3,450 feet. Your average is always between, the gradient on the ascent is always averaging 6 or 7 to perhaps 13, 14% in some instances, but it's always around between 8 and 12. So I find the correct cadence between 80 and 85 RPM. I wanted to keep the different segments, by the way. So to the barriers of 21, you have a graphic that's telling you your average. As you can see, sector statistics on the left, just below the gear. I've got to the 21st barrier, I'm averaging 258. So the bottom line is I need to keep that above 240. Now you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm pushing 258, I don't need to be doing that. Well, it's not as easy as you think. When the gradient changes, you're changing gear and then you've got to get back to the right cadence for that gear and put the right torque through the crank. It's not as easy as just hovering above around 241 watts, 242 watts. So I've been going 3.3 minutes here, climbed 280 feet, and I'm averaging for the first segment over 240. So the aim was to just take my time, one after the other. If you start thinking, or you go out too hard too early, and I've done this, you get to the 10th barrier, 9 to go, and you run out of, you burn all your matches, and you haven't enough left for the final 25, 30 minutes. So I'm really trying to concentrate, correct cadence, correct power for me. Let's get to the last, let's get to halfway first of all, then get down to the last 5, see what's in the tank, and then I can perhaps push it if needed on the last 3 barriers, which is probably 10 minutes, I'm guessing, judging by the rate I'm climbing and my speed. So you can see cadence 87 RPM. Ignore the average watt in the top left graphic because there was a lead in here. I'm just going to speed it up here. There was a bit of a lead in, I want to say 1 or 2 miles, and I was literally just warming up gently there. So ignore that top left average. The averages you want to be looking at are within the sector stats. I've just done to sector 18, 246 watts, as you can see. So I'm above target. Going to from sector 17, 252 watts. And it was one barrier to the next barrier. On the right, you can actually see, as well as the progress graphic, you see the gradient, and you can see where you are on the climb of the ALPE Du ZWIFT. You can also see the completion in miles and gates. So I've done 5 out of 22 gates, or segments. I've completed 1.54 miles out of 7.73 miles. So there's lots of indicators of your progress. It's very stat heavy actually. I've done 264 calories, top left. And my average progress to the 16th gate, you can see, is comfortably over 240. What I wanted to do was actually stay around the 250, so I had some in the tank, and I thought if I did the first 10 barriers at that level, if it did drop off, I'd been 10 watts on average over the required to get under the break this hour. So this is my third attempt, as I've said, 5 miles completed at the top. This is my third attempt to beat the hour record, which is significant, I think, and that will have me doing 1 hour at 3.2, 3.3 watts a kilo, which climbing is not easy. So I've got my cadence, I'm in 10th gear here, just under my target wattage there, just back over. Got to keep watching. It's a whole concentration. Funnily enough, I didn't have any music on until the last 6 or 7 barriers. I was concentrating that hard, I just couldn't hear the music. There's no point having it on, it wasn't a motivator. And this is just you against the clock. There's no one. I'm having a banana there. I've got 2 bottles of water. One failure last time when I did the 104 was, I didn't eat anything. I wasn't prepared. I've had my breakfast perhaps half an hour ago. Good strong filter coffee. I've got electrolytes in my water bottle. I've got a plain water bottle and a banana. So I'm not going to make that mistake. And I've got something to eat on the way up, and I think that'll come in handy. I'm going to have a third of a banana before we get to halfway, and then just have little bite-sized chunks. Look at the top graphic, 14.40 just elapsed time-wise. So yeah, on the left, going to the 15th barrier, 246. So I'm above, all good. So all good so far, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm losing a lot of water and getting dehydrated, so those 2 bottles should be just perfect for me, just topping, rehydrating, especially with the electrolytes. If you sweat a lot, you're losing a lot of electrolytes, and that can affect, obviously, the functioning of your whole system. So here we go, 5.3 miles elapsed, over 15 minutes now, which is good, a quarter of the way completed, feeling good. 6 out of 22 barriers done, almost 2 miles completed out of the 7.73. And I've got to say, when you come to some of the switchback corners here, like the 15th, it's down to 4% here, 3%, and it's not as easy as you think just to drop a couple of gears and then drop back up, because it affects your cadence and you feel in your legs, and it just throws everything out of sync. I've not done too badly there because I've kept the wattage above 240, as you can see, but it does affect me, or it did affect me from the second half of the race. It's just, you'd prefer for the climb to be 8, 9, 10% consistently, but these little drops on the switchbacks, they just make it a little more difficult. You just got to concentrate at the end of the day. Just going back to what I was saying with my fitness over the last 3 months, it's improved tremendously in my category. To give you an idea, I'm racing in 330 to 450 ZRS, or I go in the other overlap one in the Series 1, 390 to 510 sometimes. I'm able to compete now completely on the climbs. I've got a lot of work to do on my sprinting, and I will get there. But I wanted this to be a training session, not just to do the ALPE Du ZWIFT under an hour, but this is a great training session for climbing and maintaining your concentration. And I think this is a demonstration of the work I've done that's really paying off on the climbing. I'm very competitive in my category, and I have tried the category above. I think it's up to 575 ZRS, which is 125 more than I'm currently ranked at. But I'm able to stay under 15 mile Zwift race at whatever, under 1,000 feet, and compete to the end on whatever climbs are thrown at me. So this is just extending that, because I want to try and, in the next couple of weeks, really have an attack on these climbs and try and drop more riders to leave it open on these races, so there's a very small group going to the finish line. So this is good practice for that. It really is mind over matter in respect of the ALPE Du ZWIFT. It's just you and the clock, and you're just trying to figure out going from one barrier to the next. And it's just what can I say? It's not Zwift racing, obviously, but it's a different kind of discipline. I think that's the best way to translate it. It's you've got to be disciplined. Your legs, your body is telling you to stop, telling you can't do it, telling you to give up. It's that sort of challenge, and crucially, it's over an hour at just under FTP, and I think that's the real test. All these Zwift races are typically between 25 and 35 minutes for me in my category, and that's a completely different ball game to doing an hour at just under FTP. It's just a different discipline. So here we go. We're catching some riders, although my aim was not to look at the riders on the graphic, because then you're tempted to try and catch them, and suddenly you're doing 30, 40 watts above the 240 unnecessarily at this stage. So what are we at now? 12th barrier, just coming around the corner. To the 12th gate, I did 245 watts. Tick, job done. Total of time lapsed, just over 23 minutes. It's hard to gauge how you're doing. There is a graphic that comes up, I think, when you're in the final segment. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it tells you your ETA. And that is a real motivator. But it only comes up in that final segment. It would be fantastic to see an ETA at this point. Just to know whether I'm under the hour, really. I suspect I am, because every segment I've ticked off over the 3.2 watts a kilo, over 240 watts. So I should be. I'm hoping so. But it'll be a nasty shock and surprise if I come down to the second and first gate and the ETA is over an hour. I don't think it will be, but it would be great to have that. So I'm approaching the 11th barrier, number 11. Could argue, what are we, 3.21 miles out of 7.73. So we're not quite halfway, probably just approaching the 10th barrier, and we will be over the halfway mark, which is a little psychological positive. Just keep grinding away, concentrating, look at the different types of stats just to keep you positive. The route is Road to the Sky, if you're interested. I think there's several routes which encompass the ALPE Du ZWIFT. Most of the others, this is almost a direct. As I said, the lead-in is no more than a couple of miles. There's a lot of the other routes. I think there's 4 or 5 other routes that take in this as part of, as a segment of the bigger routes. and I think they're like the Four Horsemen, big nasty 100-milers. But I just wanted to do a simple ALPE Zwift challenge course, so I wanted to do the easiest one, which is Road to the Sky. 10th gear, 262 watts. Just grinding away. You can see I'm approaching the 10th. I'm only at 243 average here. So, you know, it is affecting me. I've put quite a lot of work in for the first 26 minutes. 650 odd feet climbed. So, yeah, another indicator that we're not quite halfway. Been riding for 36 minutes in total. Can I get under the hour? That's the key. So these switchbacks, and then there's a bit of a distance between the 7th and 6th barrier, which you'll see in a minute. Then you have another combination of switchbacks, and then you end up at gate 2, 1, and then the final run into the finish, which is actually the least steep gradient, and you can have a good sprint towards the end. There's a little dip and a hill into the barrier, so you can really stand up on the pedals if you've anything less. I've nearly done 500 calories, top left. Good, going to this, I'm just approaching the 10th here, and I'm at 251 average, which is good. I think it's just around this corner. You can see the little signpost on the left in a minute, indicating which barrier you've just gone past. The little triangle there, is that right? Yeah, there you go. Look, segment 10 complete, so now pushing towards the 9th segment. 251 actually. Let's accelerate this. Come to the 9th. You can see when we get to the 7th, there's quite a distance between the last set of switchbacks. And what I wanted to do here, so this was crucial. So I'm ahead. You can see the sectors 11 to 8 on the left. Comfortably achieve the 240 watts. And in my head, I was thinking, if I can get through this long segment to the 6th barrier, over 240 watts, to be honest, you know, I've done it in my mind. So this was the key. This was digging in. A bit of a courageous get over 240 watts. Everything depended on this psychologically for me. I thought if I can get through this, the other switchbacks will be much easier psychologically. 4.83 miles elapsed. 244 average on the left, 243. You see, I'm finding it much more difficult to get to that 250, 605 calories. 10th gear, 2,200, nearly 2,300 feet climbed. 37 minutes nearly completed. So I'm technically over halfway here. You can see the distance to this next gate. It is significant, and it was quite I think I've quit the race before on this section, if I remember, so I was doubly determined to get through to the 6th gate above 240 watts. You can see I'm back up at the 250 there on the left, going to the 6th gate. Huge positive that. 9th gear. Just working it, keeping pushing. I reckon there's, just around this corner, again it's gone down to 6%. 5%, 3%. So this is difficult. Yeah, you can see I've dropped to 187 watts there. It's just difficult to keep the cadence when your gearing goes down and switching gears. I'm still in 9th gear, but back up to over the 250, which is good. Total average 243 on the left, so good. Just gone around that turn. That's almost half a barrier, half a gate. Another bit completed. Just coming round the corner to the 6th here. 5.15 miles completed. Just dropped under the 240 on the left there. Tenth gear. Got to say it's getting difficult at this point. 200 back to 240 on the left. This was really do we carry on, do we quit point. I fought through it obviously, but weekly goal, mate. That was a little bonus. I think the companion app is judging me to do over, well, obviously 1.5 hours during the week. So I've done an hour on here, and I've done a 30-minute Zwift race yesterday. Nearly 40 minutes elapsed, 2/3 of the race gone. 244 average. Climbing and climbing, powering up. 10% on the right. It's getting exciting now. Over 650 calories burnt. Over 40 minutes. 2/3 gone. 15 barriers out of 22. Approaching this 6th, and I'm at 2.45 average. This was a massive turning point. When I got through to this 6th barrier, I knew I was on for it. That's assuming the 3.2 watts per kilo rule was valid, that everybody else had said. Doesn't help. There's a rider coming down on the other side in a minute. I can't wait to do that. 20 minutes to go, or just under, and I'll be doing that, cruising back down. There you go, the 6th barrier. What did I do that in? Certainly over 240, fantastic. There we go, 242, brilliant. Just had a little breather, get some fluids. Let's accelerate this through the 5th segment. Did that, 245 watts. What did I do up to the 4th? 241. I'm really struggling here. Can I get over? Yeah, got over for the 3rd. 243. Right, we're going to run this in real time almost. Sorry, normal speed to the finish here. 10% gradient. The next barrier is not far. If you can see the top graphic, almost 10 miles done. I'm approaching 50 minutes. I'm wondering whether 10 minutes, I've got to get to the 2nd, 1st and 0 barrier. I'm wondering whether I had enough time here. I was in, so I started pushing. Same plan, same strategy. Get to the 2nd barrier. Above 240 watts. Got someone to come past here, but they're only doing 1.5 watts a kilo. Probably on a little practice ride. So what have we got? Almost 50 minutes and 30 seconds elapsed as we go through. There you go. 50.30, 243 average on the left. 800 calories burnt. 8th gear, 10%, so it's just relentless. It's just climb, climb, climb. Almost 3,100 feet climbed. So it really is feeling like we're near the top now. Get through this second penultimate barrier. Then I can chase it down to the first. 19 out of 22 completed barriers, 6.84 miles. Everything is geared towards the finish. I'm putting a bit extra in here. But the watts, yeah, 285, 266. As long as the average is over 240, it's really hovering just at that 241 here. I need to get through this barrier above 240. Sorry, past the indicator. There we go. Another one achieved. Right, you can see the finish line now on the top right. So we'll approach this last segment, and then it's certainly not flat, but I think the gradient is a little more sympathetic. 51, nearly 52 minutes elapsed. I've 8 minutes. Is that enough? Working hard, I'm not even looking at the screen there. And that's, you can see my average has gone down to 230. Really struggling here. Had no banana left, I don't think. I'm down to half a water bottle. So I had no reserve hydration. I'm at 233. There's no way I was going to give this. 7.03 miles. So 0.7 of a mile to go. 3,200 feet almost. So perhaps 300 feet maximum to go. Just approaching 53 minutes elapsed. There we go, 53 minutes, and I'm not at that barrier. I was a bit worried there. I've got the average up to 240 on the left. 8th gear, 834 calories just completed. 90 RPM. You can see the cadence has gone up. But I've dropped a gear but put the cadence up. I was finding that was easier than being in a higher gear and having to put more torque through the crank. 10% gradient again, 11%. Got my head down here, really determined. Get to that first barrier, 245 average now. Now we've got that bit where the gradient subsides a bit and the ascent isn't as steep, but I'm really determined here. You can tell I'm at a different level here, focused. 846 calories complete. 243 average. Come on, keep it over the 240. You can see the little marker there. 239 average, not good. So the first time it's dipped under. I think it is 237 average. Right, I have less than 6 minutes to get to this barrier. 8%. Here we go. I'm going to beat the 64 minutes definitely, but can I get under the hour? There's just me on this final climb, 9%. I think I was standing up there, was I? Ludicrous, doing nearly 300 watts. 9th gear. I think you can see the barrier just over this next couple of hills here. And then you go around the corner and you can see it. Tremendous motivator. 21 out of 22 barriers complete. We know that. 7.35 miles. So probably 0.4 of a mile, just less than to go. 55 minutes gone. Can I get... I can't see the finish here. I'm at 9%. I've stood up because I still wasn't certain. I want to break through this. When does this ETA come? Then I can understand at this rate whether I'm going to break it. 3,350 feet. I'll just pass this rider here. He's doing 3 watts a kilo-ish. Ninth gear, just slacked off there. I'm under 200 watts. What am I doing? Just going with that rider for a minute. 870 calories, ninth gear. Just showing me 2 months ago, 64 on the left, 64 minutes, 18 seconds. There you go, ETA. Blimey, it's 57 seconds something. Come on, what a motivator that is. I'm going under an hour here. What have we got? 0.2 of a mile. Just over this ridge. Go on, stand up. Let's get 300 watts out. There we go, 360 watts, 365. Boom in here. There's no way I'm giving this up. You can see the finish line. Less than 1,000 feet. Come on. Push, push. I'm going under 58 here. ETA 57, 36, 37. Just slack. Just pulled off there. Less than 800 feet. You still can't see the barrier. Come on, I'm going under 58. Definitely. I've certainly broken an hour here. Look at me, I'm determined. One last mop and then we'll go for it. If I remember, that's how I felt. Less than 600 feet. Blimey. Third attempt. Smashed it. Smashed an hour. Let's see what I can do. Let's just push. Keep pushing. There you go, the barrier. Right. Stand up. Change the gear up. 9th, 10th. 390 watts. Come on. 57, 26. What are we? 57. Can we go under 57? What's it going to be? 57, 34, 54. Personal record, you can see. All over that. Absolutely delighted. 1 hour of hard work, 900 calories. Won some lightweight wheels as well. Fantastic. Oh, I'm all over that. Delighted. 3,466 feet. Done and dusted. I will be back up the Alp because I want to break 50 minutes. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thank you.